Did ESPN disrespect Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa in their recent article that laid out their top 10 quarterbacks? We'll have to have a discussion about that because we may have not seen Tua in the top 10 of that article. And it was a little bit surprising in my mind. Like, it was ranked on by NFL executives and peers, and Jeremy Fowler put it together. But there were just some names on the list that I thought Tua is better than, and I wanted to have the discussion and kind of give my case, like if I was a lawyer trying to persuade you guys into believing that Tua is a top 10 quarterback, because he was not by ESPN standard. And I wouldn't say it's completely disrespectful because he is kind of on that fringe top 10 quarterback range, but I do want to have a conversation about it because Tua is the biggest thing surrounding the Fins, right? Are they going to pay him? Are they not going to pay him? Training camp is in a week when veterans report. Will Tagovailoa have a contract extension by then? It seemed like that was a formality a couple months ago, but now it doesn't seem like it's going to happen at all. We'll go through it in today's show, but I want to know if you have Tua's back. He is your quarterback one, whether you like it or not, and you have to show support for him. And do that by hitting today's thumbs up button. Like today's video to show Tua you have his back. Hey, if he scrolls on this video, I want to make sure he knows that Dolphins fans are supporting him. Hit that thumbs up icon. Let's get over 500 likes on today's show. Here were the top 10 quarterbacks according to ESPN. No shocker at the top 4, really. It's also unfortunate, by the way, that these 4 quarterbacks at the top 4, I think that's kind of undisputed at this point. But they're all in the AFC. It's not ideal for us at all, actually. And then you got 2 young bucks and C.J. Stroud and Justin Herbert coming up the ranks. And then you have Aaron Rodgers at 8, Jared Goff at 9, Dak at 10. You obviously see the top NFC quarterback, Matthew Stafford, there. But then Tua and the rest of these quarterbacks come in the next 5. And that's kind of where Tagovailoa got ranked in the honorable mentions. But if you go based off honorable mentions in order, Tua Tagovailoa would have been ranked the 14th quarterback in the NFL, behind Brock Purdy, Jordan Love, Jalen Hurts, and then he is just above Kirk Cousins. And fun fact, number 16 was Trevor Lawrence, which I think is a little bit important because if T-Law is ranked 16th in the NFL, which is exactly the midway point of starting NFL quarterbacks, well, he just got paid $55 million per season, so that's something that's a little bit interesting. But I got a couple issues with this list, and you might have known that from the start of today's show. I'm not here to claim Tua is some surefire, locked-in top 10 quarterback who I think is otherworldly and is some unbelievable dude that's franchise-changing. But to me, he's better than Jordan Love, who he's ranked behind. He's better than Brock Purdy, and hell, I'll say it right now, I'd rather have Tua than Aaron Rodgers. I mean, Rodgers, no doubt, is a more talented quarterback, but are we seriously taking a 40-year-old coming off a torn Achilles over Tua? Because I read this article in rankings as quarterback rankings heading into this upcoming season. And to me, you just simply can't justify having Aaron Rodgers above Tua Tagovailoa, especially when Tua's coming off a career year where he led the league in passing yards with 4,600, completed 69% of his passes, very nice, and then had 29 touchdowns and 14 INTs. Obviously, you'd like to see the interceptions go down and the touchdowns take a little bit of a boost to like 35, 36, but after having critics call him out of not being able to stay on the field, never playing a full season, he played in all 17 games. He was dominant through the air, leading the league in passing yards. Like, how could you not have Tua above some of those quarterbacks like Jordan Love, who had his only good season of his career? Brock Purdy, who's really, to me, just a bus driver. And I know some people might say that for Tua on this Dolphins offense, but you want to talk about an absolute bus driver. Just Brock Purdy. And I really don't care what people say. I am a little bit lower on Purdy. I think he's honestly like the 16th or 17th quarterback in football, not a fringe top 10 guy. That's just how I feel. But I think Tua is a little disrespected here. Like, he had a good year, and he's only going to keep on ascending in this Mike McDaniel offense. So to me, he should be closer to the top 10, and I'll have a better case for it with some advanced metrics coming up in just a second. But I want to know your thoughts down below. Tua Tagovailoa is the blank ranked QB in football. What say you? Give your rankings. Drop a number for me down below. My answer is going to come up later in the show where I give my entire top 10 quarterback rankings with where Tua Tagovailoa is, so stay tuned for that. Let's look at some advanced stats for Tua, though, because I want to make my case for why I think he should be a little bit higher in the quarterback rankings. An advanced rating, and this is all coming from playerprofiler.com, where they have a bunch of advanced stats and metrics, and they had him ranked as the number 1 accuracy quarterback with a 7.0 rating. He was number 7th in the NFL in true completion percentage at 73.6, number 2 in the league in deep ball completion percentage at 50%. Sure, his numbers dipped down when he was pressured. His pressured completion percentage was only 56%, which ranked top 15 to be exact. But he is an excellent play-action quarterback as well, ranking 7th in the NFL in his play-action completion percentage. When you look at Tua Tagovailoa's advanced stats, the metrics are very kind to the lefty. And that should come as to no surprise because in order for him to be impactful and productive in the National Football League, he has to be deadly accurate because he does not possess elite arm strength or mobility that some of these other quarterbacks have. Like Joe Burrow, for example. He is very accurate. He is very good in his process of decision making. He doesn't have the craziest arm strength. He isn't the most mobile, but he is top tier in terms of his decision making and accuracy, and that's where Tua continues to improve. And I have some advanced accuracy numbers here for Tua that only continues to further home my point. In the red zone, he was ranked as the 17th quarterback in terms of accuracy. His volume's also a little bit down because Miami, when they get inside the 10-yard line, oftentimes leaned on the running game, as you saw Raheem Mostert have 18 rushing touchdowns last season. But then let's look at some other accuracy numbers that have Tua in the top 10. Deep ball accuracy, 6.9 grade, number 1. Clean pocket accuracy, so when he wasn't pressured, he was dicing up opposing defenses as the 6th most accurate guy. He was 8th in the league in catchable pass rate, and then in deep ball catchable pass rate, he ranked 3rd with 57.8%. And I want to just summarize these advanced accuracy metrics and stats that I found on our QB1. It's pretty clear. Out of the 10 metrics and numbers that I showed you in back-to-back graphics there, 8 of 10 were in the top 10. And the other 2 metrics were 15th and 17th. So to me, Tagovailoa is a consensus top 10 quarterback in terms of every single accuracy measurement. And in the NFL, there is nothing more key than accuracy. Yes, it is cool to have the wow plays. It's cool to have the extension plays. But you simply aren't able to win in big moments when you cannot dial up on big plays accurate footballs. And I know it has not resulted in big wins in cold games and down the stretch of seasons for the Miami Dolphins just yet, but I believe that is on the horizon for the Miami Dolphins, and I expect the Dolphins to finish out the year much more stronger this season than last season under Mike McDaniel and Tua in year 3, and I think an AFC East crown is coming to South Florida. More on the conversation here in just a second, but make sure you are subscribed because we have daily Dolphins coverage, weekly live shows. We also are going to be live having watch parties for every single Dolphins game, whether it be preseason, regular season, hopefully some postseason games. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We're 41 subs away from 57,200, so help me out and hit that sub button. I told you I was going to give you my answer earlier where I think Tua is in the NFL. I think he's a fringe top 10 quarterback. And to me, when you look at the metrics, you think of him being able to stay healthy for all 17 games last season, leading the league in passing yards with 4,600, completing 69% of his passes. I just, to me, think there's no doubt that he's a fringe top 10 guy, and I would argue he is in that top 10. But ESPN did have their reasonings for why Tua was not in the top 10 and was an honorable mention. 3 quotes here that I want to cycle through and then talk about. Tagovailoa did what he needed to do in 2023, play a full 17 games, which will inevitably lead to big numbers. A fully healthy Tagovailoa led the NFL in passing yards and took 29 sacks, a solid number for a quarterback with injury history. Then an NFL personnel evaluator said this on Tua. I feel like everybody knows what he is. A good player with some limitations. He's a matchup nightmare some weeks. He's really good when he's in rhythm and gets the ball out in time. He can be hard to beat when he's throwing with touch anticipation. which he does often. NFC Executive comes in and says this: though he doesn't have the big arm and mobility, his short to intermediate stuff is really impressive. And I just think he sees the game really well. And what they do around him is brilliant. And to me, I think that summarizes everything that I was saying perfectly. I'm not out here to try to make him look like a Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes type where if you have perfect defense and perfect pressure on him, that he's just going to be out there and make a game-changing play like Steph Curry in basketball and make something out of nothing and make it happen. No, that's not what he is. He's a really good pocket quarterback who knows where he has to go with the football, gets it out in time, hits his wide receivers in stride, and lets them do work after the catch, which is what Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle have been able to do. I mean, this is just common stuff here, but let's not reinvent the wheel. Like, there's no need to criticize and downplay Tua Tagovailoa's impact on the Dolphins team and as a quarterback in this National Football League just because he doesn't make the flashy wow plays and no-look sidearm passes. Come on, guys. And coming up, I'm going to give you my official quarterback rankings where I have Tua and the rest of other quarterbacks in the NFL. But first, I want to make sure you're hooked up with this sweet deal at chatsports.com/Dolphins combo. $25 off when this t-shirt combo, yes, you heard that correctly. Producer Chugs can't believe it because $25 off is absolutely ridiculous. Chatsports.com/Dolphins combo. We only have mediums, larges, extra large, and 2Xs left. Smalls and 3Xs are gone. Other sizes are going to be sold out quickly, so get yours. Links in the description and comments. All right, here are my top 10 quarterbacks in the National Football League. I gave you my reasoning why I think Tua is a top 10 guy, and I think it's only right to showcase the quarterbacks that I believe he's better than and not better than. I think the top 3 that ESPN had is very solid. Mahomes won, no doubt. I have Burrow just slightly over Josh Allen. I think when Burrow's healthy, there's no one better. He's calm, cool, collected. He gets the job done. Josh Allen at 3, Lamar at 4. I mean, it's crazy to say, but I really do have C.J. Stroud as that 5th best quarterback in the NFL. Year 2, he was so good as a rookie. I think he's only going to continue to get better. And remember, these rankings are going into next season, not based off what happened last year, which is why I have Stroud a little bit higher. I also have Herbert 6. So that means the top 6 quarterbacks in the NFL are all in the AFC, according to my opinion, but I don't really consider the Chargers a threat. That team stinks. Matthew Stafford 7, Dak Prescott 8. I think Jared Goff and Tua are very, very similar, but I will have Goff slightly higher here just by a very, very slight margin. He's 9th, and then I have Tua Tagovailoa at 10, which means I have Tua over Aaron Rodgers. I have him over Purdy. I have him over Jordan Love. I have him over Jalen Hurts. Like, I have no problem making that argument, and I think I did a really good job in this video outlining and displaying why I think Tua is a top 10 quarterback in football using accuracy stats. So if you want, you can go debate me in the comments, and I know there are some Dolphins fans that aren't a big fan of Tua. They don't think he could win the big game, but the numbers are the numbers. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. I'm going to use those numbers to help further my argument. Go debate me down in the comments section. Which then brings me to this to close out today's video. We've talked about Tua and getting a contract extension a lot in the past, and I have shown this graphic quite a bit because this is what I think a Tua contract projection would look like and what he could get from Chris Grier. I think Tua wants 4 years for $220, $55 million in annual average basis with $180 million guaranteed. I am willing to offer him that because that is technically the same thing as Trevor Lawrence, 1 less year, and I think Tua is way better than T-Law. I do. I just simply believe that. And Lawrence isn't even a top 15 guy according to ESPN and Executive. So other people also believe that Tua is a better quarterback than Trevor Lawrence. But the question is Miami willing to offer him that? Because they have been unable to come close to that, and it feels like they're offering $47, $48 per year. It's interesting, man. But will Tua get extended before training camp? Veterans report in about 6 days on July 23rd. Will he have a contract extension done before that? We'll have to see. Let me know. Type Y for yes or type N for no. If Tua does get an extension, I'll tweet about it first before coming out here and making a video. So follow me at Nic_Rohloff to get Dolphins breaking news quicker than anyone else. And then we'll come over and analyze and make a video on the channel. So go follow me. I'll see you with the video tomorrow. Go Fins.